Which villain do you feel sympathy for? Doctor Doom. Usually has portrayed just as a classic villain. Someone that wants to take over the world, kill the heroes, ect. But the reason he wants to do it is what's kind of interesting. There was one comic where his kingdom of Latveria invades the kingdom of Wakanda. The Panther god gives him a test trick and he ends up passing the test because his reason for wanting to take over the earth is pure. He's been traveling through alternate timelines and in every single one except one, human is wiped out in the future. The only future where humanity survives is one that is brought to order under his rule. Kind of a personification of the question, do the ends justify the means? The boyfriend Ken from the B-movie. Polyphemus from Greek mythology. Poor dude was just living a peaceful life tending to his sheep. Odysseus and his asshat friends barge in, kill some of his sheep, eat his food, and then hide in his home until he comes back. When confronted by Polyphemus, Odysseus has the fucking nerve to ask him for a welcoming gift in the name of Greek hospitality Yikos. Then Polyphemus is painted as a villain for trying to kill these parasites that disrupted his lifestyle. Baby doll from the old animated Batman series. She was stuck looking young forever and it broke her down. She actually cried in Batman's arms because of it. Dracula from the Netflix Castlevania series. Dude lost his wife to religious fanatics after he rediscovered his humanity and had to fight and nearly kill his son, the only thing in this world that Lisa left him to remember her by. I don't know about you, but that was pretty much what sold me on the Netflix series. Frankenstein's monster. In the book it's astounding how much of a jerk Victor is. Mr. Freeze. He's a truly beloved human being doing all he can for Nora. It's for Nora, you fools. Megamind, but I guess that's the point. Megamind has such an interesting perspective on who is good and who is evil. Metro Man is good because it gets him attention and fame, which he loves. From his childhood he gets everything he ever wants and loves it, then moves on to being a superhero to get more fame and popularity. Then when he gets sick of it he just abandons it despite knowing full well that he's leaving all the citizens at risk. So in the end Metro Man isn't really good, he doesn't care about the safety of the citizens or doing good, just the fame. Megamind is raised in a jail by criminals who teach him to be bad, but he still tries his hardest to fit in and get along with others at school and not be bad. When that doesn't work out, no matter how hard he tries, he turns to the only thing he's good at, being bad. Then when the time comes he actually turns good. Not because of fame or fitting in but because of his own morality. Even as a villain he never truly tried hurting anyone, he just wanted to essentially put on a show and maybe one day beat Metro Man. He didn't even intend for his plan to succeed when he finally did win and was shocked and disgusted at the thought of having killed someone. Titan is good at first because he thinks it'll get him girls, but when that fails he uses his powers to do what he wants and becomes a tyrant because he no longer has a reason to pretend to be good. Javert from Les Miserables. He's a police officer who isn't corrupt in any way, shape or form. He is just so bent on justice that he leaves no room for mercy. He's entirely broken when mercy is shown to him that he commits suicide, as the worldview he's built for himself has been completely shattered, and he can't cope. Magneto, when you think how hard his life has been. His theme song is probably the best theme song for any movie character I know. Thomas from Tom and Jerry. He had to put up with that smart-ass mouse only because it was backed up by a massive dog with anger management issues. The Ice King. Gollum, that is one messed up little hobbit. Godzilla. He doesn't know it's wrong to stomp on buildings. He's just doing Godzilla things. Sharpay Evans from High School Musical. Sure, she was a bit of a bitch, but she had reasons to be. Troy and Gabriella were late to the first audition, hardly prepared and still got a callback. Unlike Sharpay, who had been responsible, worked hard, and been on time. In the second movie, Troy's an absolute dick to her. She offers him connections and tries to get him a better future on the simple conditions that he hangs out with her and sings with her. She works hard for everything, and while she can come off as rude, she always comes around in the end to be a good person. She knows what she wants, and she isn't afraid to do what it takes to get it. There's a bunch of other stuff too. With that, I conclude my essay. Dr. Evil. Yeah, he didn't spend 6 years in evil medical school to be called Mr. Thank you very much. Dr. Doofenshmirtz. His own brother is a fucking achievement. His mom values kickball over her own son. His dad made him be a garden gnome and stand outside of their home with their neighbor. I do not blame Dr. Doofenshmirtz for being evil. The shit he went through, Who wouldn't be evil? Glad as she got turned to a potato. No, she was a computer powered by a potato. Which is even more hysterical. Robbie Rotten. We all know Sportacus is the real villain. Mr. Crocker, he's a mentally unstable man who lives with his mother and takes loans to build lairs underneath the school and is tormented by a kid who looks like a beaver, and the one thing he dedicates his life to do exists, but every time he is close to proving it he fails and looks more crazy, and the time he stopped believes sixing in fairies after seeking help he had to be driven back into madness because he powers a large percentage of fairy world. Does Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street count? Bitch, he lives in a fucking trash can. Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender. She was brought up to be her father's tool in the war, and in the end, that broke her. Team Rocket, Jesse and James. I also feel sorry for Meowth. Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture from Spider-Man: Homecoming. He starts off as a small business owner cleaning up the mess that the Avengers left after the destruction of New York, and then loses the job because the man who was partly responsible for the mess in the first place steals the job right from under him. And instead of turning to revenge and becoming some kind of anarchist, he becomes a weapons dealer to pay his mortgage and take care of his employees. In fact, his whole motivation is to provide for his wife and daughter. Plankton lol, cause he sucks. But he went to college. Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxies. She was literally abused by Thanos and I don't know why, but I want to be her friend. She seems so depressed and I want to cheer her up. Tom. Because Jerry is an a-hole. Tai Lung from Kung Fu Panda. He legit trained his whole life to become the Dragon Warrior, but he didn't, then threw a fit of rage and they built a prison specially for him, then got sent to the other world for eternity. His whole life he chased after a dream and never got it. The color brown. I don't understand why everyone hates it. I do enjoy watching the confusion on people's faces when I say it's my favorite color though. And from Pokémon Black and White. Edit, I know he's not the real villain in the end, but throughout his time being king of Team Plasma I still felt like his ambitions were true and I agreed with a lot of his opinions. Edit, also, to be educational, if you didn't know, N's name stands for Natural Harmonia Gropius. Terra from Teen Titans. If you even consider her a villain. But we'll never know cause they canceled the show. That lady from Chicken Run. She was vilified for daring to try to start her own business. Besides, eating the chicken that doesn't make eggs seems like the wise thing to do in a farm. Mrs. Tweety, the chickens are revolting finally, something we can agree upon. My favorite joke in the movie. Loki. Grew up being told he has a chance of becoming king if he works hard enough, only for Thor to be in finding out he was actually an ice giant and adopted, and that because he's an ice giant he would never be king. Yeah, he does some shitty stuff like trying to enslave the human race, but he's just a dramatic emo kid acting out after being lied to his entire life. Magneto, Holocaust survivor turned super powerful mutant who is always trying to protect his people so they never have to go what he went through in the camps. Cortana in Halo 5. Now, I hated the story as much, okay, probably more than the next guy, but you have to feel bad for Cortana. Firstly, she is an AI made from Dr. Halsey, so she inherited all of her traumas and guilts, much of the latter about the Spartan program. Cortana instantly knows she is considered a tool with a defined, short lifespan before she is executed. Her role, reason for creation, was to help on a secret missions with all the Spartan 2s to capture a Covenant leader with the Pillar of Autumn and make peace. A last desperate gamble, in a war that may already be lost. But then they find Reach. Then the first thing she does herself is watch a planet die. Watch Reach fall, one of the very things she was made to prevent. The first world she watched burn herself, but far from the first she can remember. Then people, the 3 Spartan Ives, Carter, Emil, and 6 all die for her. Then the Battle of Installation 04 Halo CE, where despite how she tries almost every human dies on the ring. Worst of all, she has to watch Captain Jacob Keyes die. Keyes was Halsey's lover for a time, the father of her daughter. And she still had feelings for him, some of which Cortana would have too. But she and John save the galaxy. And do a lot of good damage to the Covenant before they get back to Earth. But she has to watch a few Spartan 2s, people who she knows and knows she is almost responsible for, die. Then Battle of Earth starts. It looks like the end of the world. The very thing that she and Halsey have fought so hard to prevent. So many sins committed for naught. But of course she and John keep fighting. They help to save everything again, but then Cortana is captured. and tortured by the embodiment of death, the grave mind. John doesn't give up on her, and he saves her after she escapes. But then the next tragedy. Cortana again has to watch death before her. This time Miranda Keyes, Halsey's daughter. Halsey cries herself to sleep for a long time after hearing of her daughter's death. Cortana may not be as affected, but it has to hurt. But now she and John are lost in space. She has to look out for him, her closest friend, while slowly and knowingly feeling herself going insane. When they get to Requiem, they do what they always do, save the galaxy. And again death follows them as Cortana falls farther and farther. She accepts her fate towards the end. But that doesn't matter. Because she and John can't make it out this time. She uses her rampancy in a last stand and sacrifices herself to save John, maybe the only person she loves. A fragment of her survives, one that had gone insane. But it found a cure and the power to prevent all of this ever happening again in the domain. She could prevent war. She could prevent atrocities like Halsey committed. She can save other AI. And she can get revenge against Halsey, make her pay for all the sins she committed against the Spartans, including her John. And it is my person theory/hope that this is combined with her knowing the Flood are coming back and she believes she is the only one that can stop them. I really feel bad for Cortana, including this fragment in 5. She has been through so much pain.